folks, this is 8 Sigma 8, based on preps and thrives on the budget. So this channel is on how I can afford the retail prices on acquiring my stuff, any kind of gear, camp gear, clothing, anything that deals with, high prices. So I resort to thrift stores, I resort to yard sales, estate sales, divorce sales, swap meets. In order to get my things on a low budget, I head to those places on a weekly and sometimes monthly basis, depending on what it is where I'm going, which is swap meets. And so what you see right here, what you're going to see throughout the video is it's not only one specific item that I'm focusing on. It's everything that I need for, maintaining myself, my preps and how I'm thriving through this. And I have clothing, I got headgear, shoes. I love Chuck Taylors, I love Vans. I got military gear, and there's more, what I have here, and back there. So it's gardening tools, mechanic tools, everything that I can on a low price. So if I'm looking at for certain things that I need on my list, and usually my list is very small. It's specific. So, but before I go anywhere, I do research, product identification. I go through the internet, check out websites, check out manufacturers, what is out there, and also I also read the magazines. I go through magazines, anything that deals with what I need on my list. And what's on my list? Guess what? On the research, magazines is the first source that I go to. Magazines gives me product identification. It gives me product reviews, pros and cons, and camp gear, knives, pistols, anything, that I need. So, excuse me, I live close to a road. So when it comes to clothing, where I get my clothing is based on, you know, on Goodwill, because that's the only place. Because I live in Southern Nevada, and Southern Nevada is very limited on certain things. If you're north of, Vegas, or you're north or south of Reno, so like myself, when it comes to clothing, what you see, is where I get it from Goodwill. And when I get the stuff from Goodwill, it's somewhere on the ballpark, when it comes to clothing, under $20. Jeans, t-shirts, long sleeve shirts. I like Western stuff, and every so often when I go out and about, I want to dress to kill. And but when it comes to camp gear, it's on the thrift stores. When it comes to anything what you see on the table, for the exception of shoes and clothing, it's thrift stores, yard sales, estate sales, divorce sales. So thrift stores, it's a hit and miss, but you got to know the owner who is purchasing, storage units, and storage units, it's not what you think. Whatever they purchase on the auctions or they're on site is what they don't see, and what they don't see is, treasures like this. One man's preps is your preps, and that's what I'm doing. When I go to the thrift stores, I network through all the thrift stores, through all the places I go to, and I said, this is what I'm looking for. You will and deal. After a while of dealing with the owners of these places, it comes to a point where they say, you know what, if you pile it up, this is one of the things I do. If you pile it up, a lot of people don't know how to do math, so they can't count fast, or add up the whatever you have on the counter. They'll give you a ballpark, figure, and it's somewhere in there is the price, they're asking for, what they're asking for their stuff. It'll be valued as, like these Chuck Taylors. If I come across Chuck Taylors, at a thrift stores, and these, are worth between, $40 to $60 on at the retail section. So I pile everything up, and he's basically, it will say, just $40 to $50, and I go, okay, but I budget myself throughout this time. When I'm out and about looking for my preps, and I'm thriving through this economic downfall, I I budget myself to what I think is best for that week. But then on the opposite pocket, I have, you know, just in case or rainy day money. So if I see something I really need bad, I will pay for it as long as it's within that rainy day budget money. I don't dip into it. I also have containers of my loose change. I dump them in there throughout the year. So at the end of the year, Mom and I we go out and then roll them up, count them up, and roll them up, and then we go to the bank and cash them in. So the other thing, folks, is when you're out and about on your preps, you're looking for things that you can prep with, on the budget. Um, at the swap meet, you have to be ready for it. Don't dress to impress. A lot of people go there dressed to impress, and that means they bling it out, or they wear the nice suits and stuff because they want to catch something over there, some poor soul that they want to hang out with. But I underdress. So I put on some threads that I look like crap, beat up hat like I have here, full of sweat marks, salt marks, and a little bit of torn up jeans or some old beat up sneakers. I look like I haven't showered in days, but I smell good. And so because when you head over there to those swap meets, especially in Las Vegas, um, the vendors check you out, and if you're not of a certain color, or you're you know or whatever, but they do check you out to see if you have the means to purchase what they're asking for. So you underdress if you're looking for to buy things like what you see here. And I go over there once a month. I'm not there to buy anything. I'm there to, the only thing I buy is tacos. They're really good, So, but I do carry the means of purchasing certain things. I always carry ones and fives, and ones and fives are the denomination I put in one pocket, and the other pocket is a rainy day pocket if I need something there that I need. And so I have a list, a little small memo list, and the needs, that I have, the desires of what I need for gear or anything of threads is on separate, lists. So, but I have a moment before I head out is review products, what I'm going through, have some coffee and so on. Everything that you do, and when you're out and about at swap meets, thrift stores, Goodwill, anything like that, have a plan of action. Review everything that you can, the morning of, okay, I'm looking for this. But then, bottom of the list, you come across anything that you see. So, whatever your budget is, just stick with it. And believe me, it does work. It takes time. Everything is about time. If you can't find it out there some other day, some other week, you'll come across it. And that's what I've been doing since the beginning of the recession. And now we're in the hyperinflation portion of it. And the high prices at the grocery stores, the high prices at retail, I can't afford it. I cannot afford it. For the exception, if I buy anything new, it'll be undergarment, personal hygiene, and so on. And so, but at the retail stores, I cannot afford it. Name brands. I cannot afford the name brands. So I resort to these places that I mentioned earlier. So thank you for joining. I'm 8 Sigma 8. Have a good evening.